Well, a lot of people, when they think about STDs, probably the only one they actually worry about is HIV/AIDS more than anything. But there is quite a few STDs out there that are not even treatable now. Even there's new types of syphilis and gonorrhea, but also Hep C, Hepatitis C. And a lot of people do not realize how prevalent it is in the United States. Some of the other things, actually anything could be an STD. That's even though it's not considered an STD, if it's sexually transmitted, which could be even cancers. And I'm not making a moral judgment here, because every time I put something out like this, it gets polarized. There's religious people on one side that say, well, that's why it's like that in the Bible, and there's other side, there's people that are accusing me of slut-shaming or something or whatever, and I'm like, I'm not. I'm just trying to give you the facts on things, because I put out things before about women carrying DNA of their sexual partners for life through the sperm and things like that. And, people want to disagree with it or don't want to believe it. I mean, it's not absolutely proven beyond a shadow of a doubt, but the evidence looks there. Now, this is actually a statue of Diana Dors. Diana Dors was a major sex symbol back in the 50s and 60s especially, and even in the 70s. She was the British answer to Marilyn Monroe. I'll get talk a little bit more about her too. I'm not going to knock her or nothing. Not going to say anything bad about her, but just give you a couple things about as far as like health goes. A lot of people think when they're very sexually active, they're sometimes they almost have an attitude where, well, I feel healthy and nothing can possibly happen to me. It's almost like the statue of Diana Dors here. She's made out of stone. Nothing can possibly happen to me. So now the one thing with hepatitis C, the main thing it affects is your liver. That's probably commonly known. I'm going to actually tell you a couple things Now, I'm going to tell you that a lot of people on the internet talk about there's different cures for Hep C, hepatitis C. Now, it's well known within the medical doctors that 20% of people who get Hep C, hepatitis C, 20% of the people just get rid of it on their own. I know some people say it's because of natural cures or whatever, and yes, I think those things do help. But the thing is, it could be something with their immune system. It could be a lot of different factors. We don't know exactly why they get rid of it on their own. They don't know why exactly. I'm going to suggest some things, some of the standbys that I always talk about. But before I get into those, one of the things that's actually out there that has been well known to help protect and cleanse the liver and protect the liver from toxins is milk thistle. Milk thistle from the plant. Very cheap herb. If you have hepatitis C, you probably should. That's not a bad thing to take anyway. They even use that in the poison control centers in Europe as standard practice, standard medicine. They don't do it over here. I don't know why, but some things are better over here, some things are worse. I don't know. In the United States. Now, one famous person that actually said she had Hep C was Pamela Anderson. She probably got rid of it already, I would assume. She said she got it from Tommy Lee's intravenous drug use or something. I don't know what she said exactly. And he said he didn't have it or whatever, and I really don't care. But just to tell you that it does affect, the famous. I'm not saying anything bad about it or anything. I don't, if somebody told me they had Hep C, I wouldn't give a damn, at all, to tell you the truth. So I'm not being like anti-Pamela Anderson here or anything like that, so don't go thinking that way. Don't think one way or the other. It was kind of cool she said that, but the other side of it is a lot of it is supposedly from injecting drugs, but prior to blood screening, a lot of times people have contracted Hep C before they were screening for it in the blood. Now, the age group that has probably, they say about 75% of the people with hepatitis C were born between 1945 and 1965, but there's a lot of younger people that are in the, the millennials and also the Generation X, which was older than the millennials, besides the baby boomers that have Hep C. But the reason so many of the baby boomers have it is not just because of the 1960s sex and drugs culture, but Also because it was before they were screening for blood, screening the blood for Hep C, and people were getting transfusions, and then once they get a transfusion, they could spread it other ways, right? So, but the thing is, you know, people have actually even have Hep C. This is another interesting point about it because, you know, a lot of people don't even realize, you know, the deal. And I know a lot of times, and I'm showing this World Hepatitis Day stuff because a lot of times these diseases are nothing but big money makers. If they actually had a magic cure that was $3.95 or something like that, they probably freaking make sure that never sees the light of day. I don't know if there is something like that. I'm going to suggest some things that I know are useful just across the board for anybody that has any type of debilitating condition, no matter what it is. Not that I'm going to say it's a cure, but it could be helpful. I'm going to suggest some things more towards the end of this video, but I know a lot of times they suppress a lot of the best stuff from nature, and it's a big money racket. But on the other opposite side of things, like hepatitis C has actually been around a long time. People have this disease. They can transmit it without them having any symptoms, without having them any knowledge. It could stay dormant in your body for many, many years, and then all of a sudden it can affect your liver. And, you know, you need your liver to get rid of toxins and things, and it's, you know, without your liver, you're dead. I mean, that's basically what it is. It could stay dormant for many years. Many, many years. It's been around a long time. But the thing is, this is actually an STD that is extremely prevalent in the United States. There's many millions of people that actually have this. And I didn't put any charts up here to show about, you know, number of people that abuse drugs in different states, but there's states that you wouldn't expect that there's a lot of drug abuse. So it's not only just sex, it's drug abuse, it's the whole 9 yards. And a person could be perfectly healthy for a number of years, and they could be a transmitter of this disease to other people. So I don't want to, like, you know, blow it out of proportion, but then again, you know, it kind of tells you about, you know, safe sex and all that type of stuff. But, you know, even before this was actually well known, a lot of these things, even before some of the better natural remedies were known, you know, people just do what they want to do because they think of it like, well, 6 or 60, what's the difference? You know, when I die, what's the difference? It doesn't matter. You know, they kind of have it on their, you know, I just want to have fun, and, you know, it's a matter of they don't care. I mean, so, I mean, it's not like I'm trying to be Mr. Goody-Good and preach to people and stuff and tell them about the sins and all that. But I'm just telling you that if you're actually, you know, when the time comes when you actually have a problem, people will, you know, they'll wish they did something that they didn't do before. You know, it's like when it comes to actually on them, you know, they don't want to think about it. So, but it's been something that's been around a long time. Now I'm going to tell you actually some of the things besides milk thistle. Now I recommended this before. I told you like it actually could work for a number of things. I talked about this with even you know, HIV and sickle cell anemia and whatever. You know, large quantities of vitamin C, especially the buffer type that it does not contain calcium, but the buffer type that is not ester C, but the type that is sodium absorbate, and also large quantities of vitamin D. Because vitamin C is an absolute virucide. It's also repairs damage to your cells. Vitamin D helps boost the immune system, helps repair your cells. But in the case of Hep C, you should be doing things to help cleanse your liver, and milk thistle is one of your better things out there. It is definitely one of your better things out there. So, you know, now with Diana Dors, actually she died from ovarian cancer. Now, a lot of people don't even think of cancer as an STD, but it can be. Because any type of, see, cancers are, you know, I know there's a lot of different controversy as to what cancer is. You know, it's like, you know, it's the body's, everybody even has cancer at every given time, but your body's always fighting it off. And you also have to look at how is your body fighting it off. Is it a virus? If it's a virus, maybe large. They have been showing that very large quantities of vitamin C. I mean, I'm taking this from like Dr. Cathcart, Dr. William Frederick Kleiner, Dr. Levy, Dr. Linus Pauling. It's not something I'm getting from, vitamin salespeople or something. I've read a lot of extensively about vitamin C and vitamin D and how, the field of orthomolecular medicine, which is a term that Dr. Linus Pauling called, which is going right back to the founder of medicine, Hippocrates, about let medicine be thy food, let food be thy medicine, whatever. It's going right back to square one. Now, in the case of Diana Dore, she actually died of ovarian cancer. Now, she was. I'm not gonna tell you one thing bad about her. Okay, I'm just gonna tell you like she was hedonistic. She was hedonistic. She was, it's kind of like well known. I'm not passing no judgment on her because I think she's pretty cool. You know that? Tell you the truth. She used to have well, this is straight off of Wikipedia. Even I could tell you. I was reading it. She used to have cameras in all her. In her mansion with all the, where they used to have all the sexcapades. She used to have all these high-end people come over and they'd have sexcapades with all these different young starlets. And she didn't use the films to bribe them, but she just used them. She used to like watch them later and said, wow, that's cool. Look at the, look what they did and all this type of stuff. But she wound up getting ovarian cancer. Now, it's also, well, it depends on who you talk to, but ovarian cancer has also been known to be associated with people that have a lot of promiscuous sex. And, it goes along with the fact that when you have sex, parasites are transmitted, and cancers and other microbes and viri can live within and on these other parasites, larger parasites, that they can enter the other person's body. So, that may be what happened with her, too. She might have gotten ovarian cancer. Very much a shame because, I wish she would have took some other approaches rather than chemo, because what had happened with her is she got chemo and she gained weight and it just devastated, her psyche because, it kind of, then she had to take diet pills to freaking try to lose the weight, and the chemo was just tearing her up, Terrible, man. So actually, in a lot of ways, I'm going to actually put this out as a semi-pro-hedonistic video in some ways, but, if you want to look at it from the religious standpoint, that's also true because it is true because, when you look at it in the Bible, they're telling you advice that you should only have one partner and for life, and this is why, and actually all these bad things will befall you, but the Bible itself, if you read a lot into the Bible actually has many different things about concubines and mistresses and you name it. It's actually a sex book in some other ways too. So it's a matter of how you look at things. But hepatitis C is actually extremely prevalent in the United States, and most people do not realize they have it. It's prevalent mainly through the age groups that were born from 1945 to 1965, but it's coming on extremely strong in the younger generations. It's mainly prevalent in those older generations because of they weren't screening your blood way back when. Now, a lot of people think that, maybe they're women that are more promiscuous. They might think, oh, the hell, I feel strong, I feel fine. They're not worried about anything, and a lot of times their common perception is the only thing they're worried about is HIV/AIDS. They're not worried about any other thing. Well, actually, I don't want to make it so you should worry. Well, I don't want to actually put it out that there's probably effective treatments against every STD out there. There may be. But until I actually can prove that, or at least I got powerful anecdotal evidence that that's the case, I'm going to tell you, just beware. So, anyway, in today's age, like today, like we have girlfriends with girlfriends, boyfriends with boyfriends, and everything else. But, to tell you the truth, I really don't give a damn about what people do so much, but I do get pissed off about Illuminati agendas. And Illuminati agendas are usually like, they push people being promiscuous, they push same-sex, They push transgender, although I'm not against those things. They're pushing that to basically destroy people. That's what the powers that be are doing. Although I'm not going to be against anybody that wants to pursue whatever the hell they want to do. I'm serious about that. I'm like a liberal conservative. I don't know what the hell you want to call it. But I'm going to tell you that, beware that there are a lot of other bad things out there. And hepatitis C is another one of them. It probably would behoove everybody. Well, it's my opinion. I can't tell you this is a fact, but everything I've read about, well, let's coin that term, orthomolecular medicine, there's a number of nutrients. Now, I would put vitamin C as number 1, vitamin D as number 2, but also N-acetylcysteine, coconut oil, niacin in natural form, B12. I don't know. There's so much I can name. It's ridiculous that people should take higher quantities of than the recommended daily dose. Now, there's doctors that say no, but then I look at medical people that actually show that higher doses of many of these things are very, very beneficial. So, is it a controversy, or is it something where there's an argument or a battle going on in the medical field because some doctors are extremely conscientious and they realize that, nature can cure things more than even the best pharmaceuticals, and they don't want that, and other doctors don't want that to be known because it's too cheap. Now, I can tell you, actually, my cousin is up. She has she grows her own. Now, she's not a player or nothing like that, but I'm just telling, because I'm talking about these natural treatments. She grows her own food. She grows her own tomatoes. She grows her own. She has her grapes. She has trees with peaches and things like that. And her belief, and it's very true, her gardens and her trees and all her trees that produce fruits, they are better than anybody else's around in the whole entire area. And she absolutely uses no herbicides, pesticides, or anything like that. She just uses the old-fashioned way with the horse manure or whatever it is, and that's it. And she used to have cancer, and it's gone now. And I have another cousin who's way up north, who used to have cancer, and they thought she was going to die. She had to have chemo and all this type of stuff. She started dealing with the American Indians. That she lives in a country way up north. Like, she's a Yankee, but she's like a Yankee so far up north that she's definitely not associated with the city. It's up in the the northern New England states. She's actually totally had her cancer go into remission using Indian herbal treatments. So, if you are, I want to say this. I don't want to say this is a guaranteed safety, but if you're one of these people that think, 6 or 60, what the hell's the difference? I'm a player. And I know even if there's protected sex, there's still a lot of ways to transmit even HIV or other types of STDs, herpes, or Hep C I'm talking about here. That, or even cancers. You probably want to be as healthy as you possibly can be. And if you are a smoker, and that usually goes along with people who have sex, a lot of times people who have sex are smokers and, I don't know, maybe, or drinkers or whatever. You want to make sure you do take a lot extra vitamin C because per cigarette, each cigarette pulls out, they estimate, per medical people, 25 milligrams or 1/3 of the daily requirement of what they call the 1/3 of the daily requirement. They have a daily requirement as vitamin C is 60 milligrams, which is ridiculously low. In not just my opinion, I'm not a medical doctor, but many medical doctors. But if you have even a few cigarettes, you're pulling out, theoretically, the entire recommended daily requirement of vitamin C. And vitamin C is a major protector of your collagen, and which is, goes along with your skin health, wrinkles, and everything else, aging, fibromyalgia, the whole 9 yards. So actually, the people that are actually players and things like that, if you want to call it, or hedonistic type people, they should probably be health nuts more than anybody. But everybody really should be. Everybody really should be. So I just want to actually put this out because, nobody is actually thinking about hepatitis C. And it's extremely prevalent in the United States. It's extremely prevalent partly because of our medical system. Because a lot of it got spread initially because they weren't screening the blood banks for it before. And, with our modern medical system, a lot of people that were the baby boomers got it from blood, from hospitals and things like that, and then it spread from there. And a lot of people aren't conscious because it could stay of that they have it because it could stay dormant for many years. And you say, well, if it stays dormant, what's the problem? Well, it's not a problem until it is a problem. That's exactly what the deal is. It's just that you don't know it, and then it gets spread. It gets spread. So anyway, Pam Anderson, I'd imagine if she's surrounded by the right people, she probably doesn't have Hep C at all. That was an announcement that was made years ago. I just put it out here to show because it's a commonly well-known thing. It's on Wikipedia. Famous people have Hep C. She's like the number one listed one. If in my opinion, I think she used to have it. I don't think it's like I don't think nothing about it at all. But some people would say that's bad or something. I'm like, yeah, whatever. But it does affect your liver a great deal, and your liver is definitely vital to your health and survival. And one of the best things besides all those vitamins I talked about that is actually very good for the liver is milk thistle. It's a very, very, very cheap herb. They've actually used it in Europe in conventional medicine. I don't know why the hell they don't use it in conventional medicine in the United States. But then again, the United States does some things better than in Europe and whatever, but that would not be a bad thing to take at all if you have Hep C. I'm not saying it's a cure or anything like that, but if you really, really, really take good care of your health, I don't know. I hate to say it, I know a cure, but I suspect there is a lot of cures for Hep C out there because if the 20% of the people can throw it off without doing anything, that's telling me that somehow there is a cure in nature. We got to understand what the 20% is going on with those 20%, and I don't think there's any financial incentive on the part of the medical community to, the main medical community, not the good ones, not the main ones are the bad ones. They get the money, money, money. I don't think they really want to know. They don't think they really want to know. So, anyway, it was a shame about Diana Dors, but Diana Dors, but in some ways, I respect her, to tell you the truth. I think she was pretty cool. But some people would say whatever, but I think she was pretty cool. But the thing is, without absolutely knowing, what could possibly, well, it's like this. Anything you do in life is not safe. So you can't. It's like people make their choices. People want to go skydiving. People want to ride a motorcycle. People want to go in the water, in the ocean, because they want to do this, they want to do that. So some people want to have more sex than others. I'm not making a moral judgment here, but you should do everything that we know that could possibly give you a margin of safety. And probably looking at the field of orthomolecular medicine, we're taking more nutrients and things. It may give you a margin of safety. There's some doctors that would say it does, but I would not rely on that, but use it as an adjunct. And I just want to make people aware that hepatitis C is very, very, very prevalent in the United States. Not to tell you that don't go in the water because there's always just sharks someplace in the water, but, get my drift. Be cautious. Be cautious.